Hey everybody, today I'm going to discuss Mountain Dew and PepsiCo's campaign to encourage people outdoors. So, what Mountain Dew and PepsiCo did was under the Mountain Dew brand, they donated $100,000 for 5,000 donations to reimburse hunting and fishing permits to Midwest outdoor enthusiasts. How they did that was taking the $100,000 and reimbursing it in $20 increments to 5,000 people who sent in user-generated content through a photo campaign on on Mountain Dew's website, and encourage users to buy hunting and fishing permits and get them outdoors. Now, this came during July of last year, 2020, when about the only thing we could do was either stay indoors or go outside and get away from others and go hunting or fishing. They were successful in doing this through influencer marketing, the likes of Chase Rice, country western singer, Hannah Barron, which is a large outdoor influencer, um, brought in a lot of the engagement within that campaign, and they were successfully able to donate all $100,000 worth of that campaign. So, applying this to what we've learned into the class, Mountain Dew took this success and applied it to their social responsibility as a corporation, to generate more revenue to help and protect the recreational wildlands of the United States. So, how did they do that, and what is corporate social responsibility? Corporate social responsibility is when corporations take an initiative to engage or donate or uplift a social initiative that's going on in their markets that they're engaged with. So, some of the instances that we see most often is taking action whenever we have social responsibility engaged with LGBTQ rights or racism or wildlife and environmental issues. One of the biggest ones that we see as an example is Amazon's effort to fight back against their environmental causes of having so many cars on the road. So, how they do that is hire corporate social responsibility teammates that take over and try to get Amazon to net zero carbon, which means having more efficient cars and more efficient delivery systems and more efficient hardware and housing for the packages to be received through. How does this apply to Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew took the initiative to donate $100,000 out of their budget towards these donations. Now, how that worked is they gave these reimbursements back to their audience members, to their customers, through these $20 reimbursements. All of those $20 reimbursements encouraged or lowered the barrier of entry for those permits to be purchased, meaning that every time a customer went out and purchased one of these permits for the purpose of getting this reimbursement, what happened was all of that money goes towards the education, the restoration, and the conservation of the wildlife efforts in that area. So, anytime a permit is purchased for hunting or fishing, those funds go towards the conservation efforts of that area. And how does that? Why do companies do it? So, companies are socially aware. This is a huge point because Mountain Dew did a great job here of explaining that they knew that customers were quarantining in place. If they weren't quarantining, they were outdoors hunting and fishing. So they were socially aware of what was going on during the pandemic crisis. The second reason, they were corporations can be aligned in a mission. On a mission for this. You see a lot of this with companies like REI, or you see a lot of other outdoor companies have mission statements that are built for getting people to go after a particular mission or social initiative in the outdoors. Another thing too is they can write this off. This goes towards tax investments as charitable donations, and it really helps out the financials of these corporations. Some key takeaways of this entire case was Mountain Dew did a fantastic job of being socially aware. They made sure that they were on the same page as their customers, and their customers were either quarantining or they were hunting and fishing day in and day out. And so they knew that they would be purchasing these permits, and they made the barrier of entry easier to purchase the permits, meaning they brought more people into the outdoors through their brand name, in turn associating their brand name with the outdoors. So anytime you were to go hunting and fishing, you may start to think about Mountain Dew on your way out there. Another takeaway is their mission alignment. They were aligned to get people outdoors during the pandemic. This was their entire social mission in this campaign, and that aligned perfectly with one, aligning their name to it, and two, providing the donation to the permits and the conservation agencies. Three, the market research that they did in this aligned perfectly because they knew the exact key Midwest markets that would fit perfectly for this entire case. So they did their market research that fit perfectly and knew that they could launch this great within the Midwest, especially with these influencer marketing initiatives, the likes of Chase Rice, Hannah Barron that I mentioned a little bit earlier. So a big kind of overall takeaway from this is Mountain Dew launched a campaign to donate $100,000, $5,020 donations towards the reimbursement of hunting and fishing permits. This encouraged users to get outside, use and purchase hunting and fishing permits during a time of quarantine in a pandemic. They utilized influencer marketing in this campaign and gathered lots of user-generated content from the users who got the reimbursements and who engaged with the campaign. Now, Mountain Dew has actually come out in 2021 and said that they were going to double down and add $1 million worth of donations to that same campaign and get people to engage with it even more. So they were corporate. They were a large corporation that identified a social responsibility of getting people outdoors during a pandemic in a healthy way. So they sent people hunting and fishing where they could quarantine away from others, but also engaged with conservation agencies that may have seen a decline with less and less people hitting the field. But in reality, they got more donations than ever of people engaging with hunting and fishing for some of the first times. And Mountain Dew identified that as a corporation and lowered that barrier of entry for those new users. So a big takeaway, they were successful in lowering the barrier of entry, being a socially responsible corporation, and they associated their brand image and name with an activity that you do if you're in those areas. So I hope that cleared some things up, and I appreciate it.